G'day, g'day. How you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right.
Now we come to the portion of the service before we do our Bible study that we talk about some end times news and trends that are happening around the world as it relates to Bible prophecy. There's times in a game, for example, in athletic, where the countdown of the time is getting ever so close to the final minute. And say, for example, the game is a draw, it's 1-1. The 10-minute mark, the 5-minute mark, it's all happening. You see the intensity on the field with the players, with the coaching, it's increased. And this is how I feel with the end-time events that is happening. The time is being pushed so ever so closely around the world. As you look at the news events that is going on, the countdown is happening so quickly. So we need to be alert. We need to be watchful. We need to be focused. We need to keep persevering. This next month is going to be another interesting month, even though we're still in August, but September time, there's a lot of interesting things that are going to happen. For example, the UN is going to have their normal, regular General Assembly. That's going to happen. But what's going to take place is what the Palestinian ambassador to Russia had this particular meeting in which he's mentioning about this event that's going to happen. The international meeting on Israel and Palestine is going to take place in New York in September. So high levels of foreign ministers, about 30 of them, as they say, according to this report, are all going to meet, to converge, to discuss this Palestinian and Israeli peace process. This is important because, as the Bible will talk about, and does say in Daniel chapter 9, about this peace agreement that needs to take place. This is getting one of those other pieces of the puzzle. Not saying that's going to happen, but they're getting the conversation started. They're getting the people at the table. And it's, again, Israel versus the world. The other components of the countries around them are all going to be signing this particular agreement. So this is another piece of that process. And eventually, again, we know that the Antichrist will be signing this covenant. The third temple, as we've talked about many times before, is getting ready to be put in place. They're training the priests right now for this particular tasks. So this whole peace plan is getting ready to unfold, which we know the Antichrist at the midway through the tribulation period is going to break covenant and ask the world to worship him. So we know we're getting ever so closely to this period of time called the tribulation period. Not saying that we're there yet, we're getting close to that. We're seeing the signs of the times. On another report that happened on Thursday out of Israeli National News, had this interesting article called "Renounce Israel or Else." And what the progressive Democrats, these are the people of Hillary Clinton and the like of that same nature, have become openly opposed to Israel. Alan Dershowitz warns, demanding that members renounce the Jewish state. So the progressive wing of the Democrat Party has become openly anti-Israel, according to this report. So this is something that is not shocking, but is something that you're going to see more on a consistent basis, where the world comes against Israel. The world is going to have more of a hatred toward the Jewish people and the nation of Israel. In a piece that was published by Al Jaminer, this author describes himself as a lifelong Democrat, noted the active efforts by progressive left groups of root out Israel supporters from their ranks. So if you support Israel, they're trying to oust you, so you're not going to be a part of their progressive circles. But we're going to see just an increase of the hatred toward Israel. Even from America, who, again, with this current administration, has a hatred toward Israel. So Israel is going to be by itself. This is what the Bible has already told us. It's going to happen. On to another issue, and this is dealing with more of a globalization, new world order, one world government to be in place, and just one of those other pieces of the puzzle that happens. But according to the Daily Caller on Thursday, a leaked Soros strategy that globalization will increase migration pressures. So the whole globalization from the one world government is trying to push people toward this process, because it's eventually trying to have a global dominance, global police, a global government, so that's going to be in control of every country around the world. But what the Soros Foundation, the Open Society Foundation, is anticipating an increase in migration pressures in the coming decades due to part of globalization, according to a leaked memo outlining a proposed strategy for successfully influencing migration policy. And as you can see, the disaster that this has happened all throughout Europe, you're going to see this in many other countries around the world that is integrating this migration policy. And as John Kerry said several weeks ago, a borderless world. So anything goes. There's no, and this is exactly what globalization wants. They also want population control. Why is this important? Because it's pushing that agenda for a one world government, a one world, currency, a one world religion. It's all pushing toward that direction. On to another issue, a natural disaster, as Jesus warns in the last days. One of the other signs of the times is the earthquakes in various places. And so we see the intensity, the magnitude of these things, the frequency. Again, the death toll in Italy, according to Fox News, was about 267 from yesterday's report. And there's at least over 1,000 plus aftershocks. And again, it was a 6.2, I think, magnitude earthquake that happened. But it just devastated these towns throughout central Italy. So if these towns are not built properly, and again, there's a new code that happens with a lot of modern buildings, especially in cities. And I know, coming from an earthquake country in California, they had certain codes in how you built according to the bridges, so it can handle a certain type of magnitude of an earthquake. Your houses, it's built so it can move around, so it's not going to crash. But if houses are not used to this, and you're seeing these earthquakes in various places that are not used to earthquakes, you're seeing the damage, the destruction. It doesn't take much. A 5.0, you're feeling it. 6.0, it's causing damage, and so people are, left wounded, homes destroyed, businesses destroyed. The emergency crews can't even get to these places because of the bridges that have been destroyed in the process. It'd be like having a 6.2 earthquake down here, and all the emergency crews on the Bolte Bridge or Westgate Bridge or the tunnel, they can't get to help the people out. So you're seeing just the damage and destruction that's happening. But as we mentioned, there's going to be more earthquakes around the world. On a religion issue, and this happened here in Australia the other day, actually the other week for that matter, French nationals screaming Allahu Akbar stabs British woman to death here in Australia. So it happened in Townsville on Wednesday. And there was a backpacker hostel near Townsville where this took place in Queensland. A 21-year-old British woman died at the scene, while a 30-year-old British man was taken to hospital in critical condition. So these are reports that you're hearing happening all over other places of the world. It's not so common that we're hearing here in Australia, but now it's becoming more common. So again, we can't hide from this anymore. It's in our own backyard. It's in our own home country. But these incidents are becoming more frequent, and this was a lone wolf attack. We're going to see more of these lone wolf attacks that are going to happen around the world and also here in Australia. And then lastly, this was kind of interesting, but we've seen this type of reporting before, how this microchipping that's taken place. There's a woman up in Sydney who microchips or implants her hands where she can now unlock doors and without a key and never needs a computer password. So according to the Daily Mail, again, these microchips planted in the skin can now unlock doors and get into computers. Shanti from Sydney, Corporal, had 2 of these implanted in her hands, and it's about the size of a grain of rice that has all this information. And so what the article says, that we get a glimpse into what the future may hold, tiny microchips being planted into humans that they can unlock doors or pay for their items at the supermarket. And this isn't too far off of what we're looking at, not saying that it is, the mark of the beast, as Revelation 13 talks about. Again, as it says, you can't buy or sell unless you have this particular mark. This sort of implantation gives you all the details that you need. It opens doors. It pays for things. It's exactly what the cashless society is looking for. Futuristic lifestyle, as this lady calls it. And so it's interesting to see we're getting so close to, where people don't want to carry their credit cards anymore. They don't want to carry their wallet anymore. They have everything right here. It makes sense from that type of perspective. Anyways, we're getting so close, but this is just a brief update, and we've already covered several key important issues regarding the signs of the times, how close we are getting to the imminent return of Jesus Christ. The signs of the time that Jesus mentions in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. These are all key things that we're seeing pieces of the puzzle coming together. We're coming toward that finish line before the imminent return of Christ. So let's be watchful in all things. Let's be wise about things. Let's be discerning, and may we, of course, stick close to Jesus and stay in His Word. Amen? And that concludes today's update.